Okay, this is going to be how to do body weight hip hinges. So that way you can work on getting better hip hinge depth, practice the movement, or work on better glute activation through a stretch and load. And this is going to take you right into doing hip hinges later, like deadlifts or kettlebell swings. This is just going to help you figure out where some of your weak points may lie and how to really perfect that movement. Because a hip hinge can be really challenging for some people to learn and do. So the big thing with a hip hinge is that it is essentially the opposite of a squat. So if a squat, you are getting lots of knee bend, you're staying pretty upright, and then dropping down into a low position. A hip hinge, you are going to hinge at the hips, your torso is going to pitch and you're going to allow yourself to come forward, and you are limiting your knee movement. So what I'm going to show you is a couple different ways to do a bodyweight hip hinge. Practice the movement, practice the glutes working here. So one thing that I like to do is have a bench to work off of, and we can go in a lot of different positions here, but a bench is going to help you limit your knee movement because a lot of people have a tendency to want to squat down. So the first thing we can do is walk up to the bench. I'm going to let my toes go just a little bit past so that way I can bend my knees and rest them against the bench. Now I want to make sure that I don't push it away because then I'm squatting. But I want to make sure I do have some pressure in it if I'm going to face onto it. From that point, I want to make sure that I'm squeezing my butt, making sure it's very well flexed. And then as I hinge down, I'm going to go slowly, make sure that my glutes are flexing through the whole movement. Make sure that my lower back and my upper back are staying relatively flat. And I'm just going to come down and find a way to touch the bench. So your best way to start is first, straight arms, fingertips. Once you're good there, you can try going flat palms. Take you about 4 inches deeper or maybe even further. And now I can get a lot further. My back is still flat and my glutes are still firing. And I'm going to squeeze to get up. Now once I get good at flat palms, next, I'm going to start reaching across the bench, and I'm going to tap my wrists to the opposite edge. Again, still relatively flat back. My glutes are firing well. My knees are staying against the surface. Those are all the key parts to facing toward the bench. Now, if I get better at that, I can turn away from the bench. I can put my heels against it, set myself in a little bit of a knee bend, and I'm going to do the same thing, except my goal here is to keep my calves in contact with the bench and not allow myself to squat forward. This is going to take a little bit more control, so this makes for a fine next step. And I just want to imagine where my depth is compared to facing the bench. But still, flat back, pushing my glutes back, and flexing the whole time. You want to take it slow, that way you don't just slump forward or come off of the bench and you lose your glute flex. The whole point of this is to practice keeping your glutes activated during the movement. Once I get good at both of those, I can break away from the bench, and then I can do a free variation where I'm still limiting the movement. Limit the knees, push the hips back, keep the back flat in good posture, and flex the glutes. Now, some different variations you can try to see if it helps you do it better or you get a better glute feel out of it is you can try angling your toes in into a pigeon toe stance. What this will do is pull your glute medius into a stretch and allow your glute max to do the bulk of the work while stretching and loading that glute medius. So it would look something like this. It can be really challenging for people that are really dominant with their external rotators. I would recommend starting on the bench for it. Keep your knees in, toes in, and glutes flexed. The opposite of this would be to use a band. So if I were to take a band and I can put it around my knees or my ankles, now I'm going to force myself into an external rotation, and I have to hold that. This is going to be better for people that are weak with external rotation and stronger in internal. So I'm going to position my feet out a little wide, I'm going to bow leg. So I'm going to push my knees against it without angling my feet more, without moving my feet out wider. And now I should already feel my external rotators and my glutes firing. From that point, limit the knees, flex the glutes, and throw your butt back. So from the side, up against a bench, I'm going to do the same thing. Now, which one you need just depends on what you personally need. But those are 3 variations to practice your hip hinges and start getting good to work toward deadlifts.